This is going to be the hardest video I've recorded today. So I'm 26 years old, and for the last 7 years, I've been trying but failing to run a successful business. I've made money, I've lost money, but ultimately I've failed. I'm not a success story. And honestly, I feel pretty embarrassed to tell you how long it's taken me, because by this point, I genuinely believed I'd be making 10 to 20K a month, if not 50 to 100K a month running my own business, because I've seen many people do that around me. The places I've been, the environments I've been in, the coaching, the programs I've been in, people have been doing this consistently and I haven't. So the question is why? I've invested 20K into self-education, into business coaching, mindset coaching. Basically, I invested into anything I thought that would help me grow my business and live the life I want to live. And I've sacrificed, traveling, buying nice things so I could keep investing back into the business. So the question is, why am I still struggling? Why can't I, to this point, run a successful business? And why do I have to keep working a part-time job to pay the bills? Well, you're going to be shocked by this. It's not what I thought. It's not probably what you think. I used to think that I had to work harder. I needed to be more focused, be more disciplined. I needed to, be a better person, have a better mindset. And that's why I was being held back. But I was overlooking the most obvious thing that I'm going to share in this video. And I'm also going to share the lessons I've learned from doing things wrong for the last 7 years. So before we get into that, I want to take you back to a time when I was about 19 years old. I just got back from traveling. It was honestly one of the best times of my life. It was so fun. We were traveling around Europe. But then once I got back and the high off the traveling kind of faded away, I kind of fell into a weird kind of place. I felt a bit lost. It's kind of hard to describe, it's a bit of a mixture of just like being bored, being frustrated, being slightly depressed, and just not having a purpose to put my time into. So eventually I decided to book a 12-hour coach trip from the UK to Amsterdam to go to this 4-day self-help seminar. I was just basically looking for all right, what do I do next? What's my purpose? What can I actually just put my time into? And I was really just looking for what should I be doing with my life? And lo and behold, I got to the event. After a couple of days, it clicked and I realized I could be running an online fitness coaching business, which was part of my passion. I was really into health and fitness at the time. And so I was just super excited. I was pumped. I was like, holy shit, okay, this is the thing. So as soon as I got back to the UK, I did a bunch of research. I found a coaching program I can join to really help me grow my business and start a proper business. And the only thing is, it costed £2,000. That was the more than I'd ever paid, for anything in my whole entire life. And also I didn't have that kind of money. So I was kind of a bit disappointed, but eventually I just plucked up the courage and I was like, you know what, I may as well. I asked my mum, is there any chance she could borrow me the money? I said, I'm super confident it's going to work. I'll be able to pay you back within a few months if you just borrow me the money. And surprisingly, she did. And I invested into the program, and literally within 3 months, I closed my first client for 2K. So I made all my money. I was able to pay back my mum. I literally remember when I closed that, I got off the sales call. I was freaking out. I was like, holy shit. I ran downstairs. Me and my mum were just celebrating. She was honestly just as shocked as I was. And yeah, I paid her back. And fast forward a year and a half, I'd made around 16K, which wasn't anything too big, but it was big to me. I'd never really ran a business before. I tried a little drop shipping business, and I tried to kind of start a marketing agency, but they were very short-lived. So this was my first business where I'd made some real money. And this is where the point in the video comes, where it's so what went wrong, right? How did that turn into a failure? Well, I didn't really mention that in order to make that 16K, it was a huge grind, and I honestly started to hate the day-to-day of the business. I was spending most of my time doing marketing and sales methods that I just didn't like to do, and very little time actually coaching clients. So I just basically started to hate running my business. And honestly, I would rush through the day. I would mindlessly go about doing the work. I would honestly just couldn't wait to just finish work and go smoke weed with my friends. And lo and behold, I had a dry few months where I'd made no income, right? Paired that with the fact that I just didn't really like running my business anymore. I decided to pause the business. And my plan was I'll get into sales, I'll make some cash, I'll reinvest it back into the business, learn some new methods and grow the business and finally make it big. But 7 years later, I'm still struggling to run a successful business. So what went wrong? What did I do wrong? What can you avoid? Because honestly, looking back, it was literally one main thing. And then there's a few other lessons I think is important to share with you. So the first thing was, I realized that I can't do anything long term that I don't enjoy doing. I can't run a business I don't enjoy doing. I just can't. And the thing is, maybe you're the same, right? So it wasn't the fact that like I had a lack of discipline or a lack of focus or a lack of motivation. It's just that I was doing things I hated day to day. I didn't enjoy the marketing methods. I didn't enjoy the sales methods. And that's what I was putting most of my time into to try and get clients. And so I was just basically doing things every day I didn't want to be doing. And that's why I was slacking off. That's why I was getting distracted. And that's eventually why I just quit and paused the business. And then each time I would start a new business, I would switch to a new coaching offer or a new thing or a new strategy because I hated what I was doing, right? I hated the business model. And so I realized I just have to be doing something I enjoy so I can stick to it. And that's the most important part of the video probably for you, is realizing that maybe you're the same. Maybe you need to be doing work that you're passionate about. Maybe you need to be doing work that is satisfying. Maybe you can't be successful without that. Maybe it's actually better to make decent money doing something you love than getting rich doing something you hate. And honestly, maybe you just don't have any other option. Maybe you're like me, where you just can't be successful unless you're following your passions. So that's the first major lesson that took me too long to realize, that I hope you can realize for yourself right now and avoid the wasted time, right? So the biggest thing was I just wasn't doing something I was passionate about. The second thing was I believed there was something wrong with me, instead of seeing the little symptoms that were coming up as a sign that I was just on the wrong path. So it's kind of similar to what I was talking about, just not doing my passions, but I started to make it a personal thing. I started to think, I've not got the right mindset. I need to focus more. I need to be more disciplined. I need to have more motivation. There's something wrong with me. And so I went about trying to fix that without realizing, like, the reason I was dealing with all of those things was not like a bug in my system. It was a sign that you're on the wrong path. Because as soon as I was doing work that I enjoyed, as soon as I was enjoying the process, I was doing satisfying work, I was working on something that I really cared about, I had literally no problems with motivation, with discipline. I could lock in all day long, focus for hours and hours at a time. You know, I was in a flow state. The time went fast. I had literally zero problems with any of the things that I was dealing with because I was doing something I enjoyed doing. I was following my passions. But as soon as I started to try and force myself to spend hours and hours doing marketing methods I hated and sales methods I didn't enjoy, that's when I experienced all the problems. So again, it's kind of going back to the first thing of maybe it's just you're doing the wrong thing. You're not doing something you're passionate about. The third lesson I learned was I was a big overthinker in business, and I tried to overthink and overanalyze my way out of my problems. So anytime I would have a business problem, I would think and think and think. I would ruminate. I would get stuck on it. I would loop on it. And overthinking isn't problem solving. That's what I realized. It's just, it's basically your mind being stuck in a loop, desperately trying to get out of it. What's actually leading to the breakthroughs, you know, the real breakthroughs that I had, wasn't me thinking and thinking and thinking. It was actually me going into silence, allowing my mind to rest, and then having realizations, having epiphanies that then just made it so obvious what I needed to do next. So what I do now when I'm overthinking a business problem or just any problem in my life is, first of all, I cut out the noise. So I stop consuming so much media. I stop taking on more opinions. I stop taking in the inputs. I allow myself to rest, and I silence my mind through just basic meditation. Breathing in, breathing out, silence in the mind. And I allow myself to just sit in that boring silence. Just that boring silence of nothing going on, no inputs. And then once I'm starting to calm down and my mind is starting to rest and I'm starting to feel just more calm and relaxed, then what I do is I go into calm contemplation. This is basically a process of allowing myself to be in silence and then just asking myself deep questions. What am I not seeing here, right? What is the main thing I should be doing with my time to live the best life? What is the best business model for me? Asking questions like that, allowing myself to sit in the not knowing of the answer, not trying to rush to an answer, but just I don't know. Just sitting there, allowing that silence to kind of consume me, continuing to ask that question, and then boom, having an insight, having an epiphany that will help me move forward. And lesson 4 is dwelling on wasted time is just more wasted time. Like, I could drive myself crazy thinking about how long it's taken me to get to a point where I'm still not successful in business. I could, put myself into a frenzy of jealousy and comparison and feeling like a lack of hope and frustration by just focusing on how long it's taken and how much time I've wasted. But what I realized is, other than the fact that I don't want to feel like shit all day, the reason I won't allow myself to go into that is because actually thinking about all the time you've wasted is just more wasted time. So look, if you clicked on this video because you can relate to wasting years of your life, if you finally want to turn that around, you want to start living a more passionate life, you want to start being successful, you want to start living the life that you've been dreaming of, then the main thing you need to focus on is not all the time that you've wasted. You just need to focus on what is the one thing I can start to do right now to live a passionate life and to get paid to do things I enjoy doing. Because that is the biggest lesson of this video. It's that you should focus on aligning your business or your career with your deepest passions in life so that you can get paid to do things you enjoy, which is going to make it a lot easier to grow a business because you enjoy doing what you're doing. So you're locked in, you're focused. It's also going to make it just a much better journey. And ultimately, it's going to make your life just enjoyable to live. And so that's the main thing. What is the one thing you can do right now to get yourself on that track? You don't need to focus on the past, focus on the present. That is my biggest advice. Now, if you like this video, if it resonated with you, if you can relate to it, and you want to hear more ideas like this, I'm going to be recording more videos on, how to master your passions and get paid to do them, and many more videos that are related and that's going to help you in that journey. And I'm also creating a free community right now. There may be a link in the description. If not, it will be coming soon in future videos where we will have a free community where we can join in as a group, have weekly calls. We can go back and forth. I can teach you everything I know on how to make this a reality. And we can also just talk over the DMs and I can give you personal feedback and advice and stuff like that. And we can just have a group of friends who are all on the same journey together. So that's coming soon. And yeah, if you like this video, keep your eyes peeled. There'll be more videos like this to come. See you soon. Peace.